Welcome to this audiobook journey through social intelligence, a guide to understanding the hidden power of human connection. In these chapters, you will discover how every smile, every word, and every gesture shapes not only our relationships, but also our health, our happiness, and even our future as a society. This is not just a book about psychology, it is about life itself. Together, we will explore how emotions are contagious, how compassion heals, how toxic connections harm, and how kindness can ripple across the world. Each chapter is written in simple human words, designed not just to teach, but to touch your heart. As you listen, think of your own life, the people you love, the relationships you want to strengthen, and the connections you want to heal. Let this be more than just knowledge. Let it be a practice, a reminder that every moment with another human being is a chance to make the world a little brighter. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin the journey into social intelligence, the art of connection, compassion. From the moment we are born, our brains are shaped to connect with other people. Human beings are not made to live alone. Our happiness, health, and even our survival depend on the quality of our relationships. Every time we meet someone, talk with them, or even look into their eyes, small changes happen inside our brain. These changes can lift us up and make us feel safe, or if the connection is negative, make us stressed and weak. Relationships are not just social, they are biological. A caring smile, a kind word, or a gentle touch can calm our heartbeat, lower stress, and make our immune system stronger. On the other hand, anger, rejection, or coldness can hurt our body, drain our energy, and even shorten our life. We are like open systems. Our brains are always influenced by the emotions of people around us. When someone close to us is happy, we feel lighter. When they are angry, we feel tension. This is why social intelligence, the ability to notice, understand, and manage relationships, is as important as IQ or technical skills. It shapes not only our success, but also our health and fulfillment. Think about the last time you were with someone who truly understood you. Maybe they listened without interrupting, smiled at the right moments, and made you feel safe. That feeling isn't just nice. It's a sign of balance between two people. Every relationship is a dance of signals, a look, a tone of voice, a pause before speaking. When the rhythm matches, both people feel connected. When it doesn't, the bond feels weak or awkward. Our brains are constantly scanning for these signals. A tiny frown, a quick sigh, or a warm laugh can change how we feel instantly. That's because our brains mirror the emotions of others. If someone is calm, we relax. If they are tense, our body reacts with stress. Good relationships are about finding balance. Not being perfect, but being able to tune into the other person's state and respond with care. Balance is fragile. If one person becomes too harsh, too distant, or too self-focused, the other person feels it immediately. Over time, these small breaks can drain the relationship. Social intelligence means noticing when the balance shifts and gently bringing it back. Sometimes with just a kind word, patient silence, or showing that you care enough to pay attention. Imagine sitting across from someone you love. Without saying a word, you both smile at the same time. Or picture watching a tense scene in a movie, your heart races as if you're inside the story. This is not magic. It's your brain dancing with signals. Scientists call this a neural ballet. Tiny circuits in our brains mirror the actions and feelings of others. When we see someone laugh, our brain fires as if we are laughing too. When we watch someone cry, we echo that sadness inside ourselves. This is why emotions are so contagious. A grumpy boss can spoil the mood of a whole office. A cheerful friend can lift us even on our worst day. These emotional echoes are the building blocks of empathy. By feeling a little of what others feel, we understand their inner world. Real connection doesn't come only from clever words or logic. It comes from tuning in emotionally. But this dance is delicate. If we shut ourselves off, avoid eye contact, or refuse to listen, the rhythm breaks. We lose the invisible bond that makes people feel seen and valued. Protecting this dance is part of social intelligence, being present enough to notice and open enough to mirror others with kindness. And then there's something deeper: mindsight. Imagine walking into a room and sensing the mood before anyone speaks. That ability comes from mindsight, seeing the world through another person's eyes. Mindsight is more than hearing words. It's noticing the sigh behind the smile, the silence after a sentence, the feeling in someone's tone. When we use mindsight, we don't just see behavior, we glimpse the inner experience. This is why some people feel instantly comforting. They don't rush to judge or give advice. Instead, they get you. They listen with presence, and you feel safe to open up. That's the power of mindsight. It gives people the gift of being understood. But when mindsight is missing, relationships turn cold. A parent may scold a child without realizing the child is scared, not disobedient. A partner may withdraw, thinking the other doesn't care, when really they're just tired. Without mindsight, signals are misread and trust weakens. The good news is that mindsight can be developed. It grows with empathy, attention, and practice. Each time we pause, listen, and imagine what life feels like for the other person, our ability to connect deepens. Every day, we exchange more than money, words, or actions. We also trade emotions. A smile given to a stranger, a harsh tone used in frustration, a small moment of kindness. These are all emotional transactions. Together, they create what Daniel Goleman calls our emotional economy. In this economy, emotions are like currency. Positive ones, like encouragement or warmth, make others feel rich. Negative ones, like anger or rejection, leave them bankrupt. Unlike money, though, emotions multiply. A single moment of kindness can ripple through a family, a team, or even a community. The same is true for negativity. One person's bitterness can spread like wildfire. Think of a workplace. A supportive manager who shows respect and trust can inspire loyalty and creativity. But a boss who humiliates or dismisses people can poison the whole culture. The cost isn't just emotional, it's physical. Stress weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, and drains energy. In this way, the emotional economy affects both performance and health. The truth is, we are always influencing each other's emotional state. Every conversation is a chance to make a deposit or a withdrawal in this invisible bank account. Social intelligence means being aware of the impact we leave behind. Did we lift someone up or pull them down? Did we leave them stronger or weaker than before we met? When we pay attention to this economy, we realize our greatest power isn't in status or money, but in the way we shape the emotional climate around us. Have you ever noticed how quickly you can sense another person's mood? Sometimes it takes less than a second, a raised eyebrow, a shift in tone, or a quick glance, and suddenly you know whether the person is happy, angry, or distant. This happens because our brains are wired with social reflexes. These reflexes work faster than conscious thought. Before we even realize it, our body has already reacted. We might smile back without thinking, or tense up when someone frowns. These automatic responses come from ancient parts of the brain that evolved to keep us safe and connected. But here's the challenge. While these reflexes help us bond quickly, they can also mislead us. Sometimes we misread signals, assuming someone is upset when they're just tired, or thinking they're cold when they're only distracted. Misunderstandings are often born from these split-second judgments. Social intelligence is about slowing down just enough to check these instincts. Instead of reacting instantly, we pause, observe, and adjust. This doesn't mean ignoring our gut feelings. They are valuable, but it means balancing instinct with awareness. At their best, our social reflexes make connection feel effortless. They allow us to share a laugh, comfort someone with a touch, or sense danger before words are spoken. But when combined with awareness, they become even more powerful, turning quick reactions into deeper understanding. Every person carries a kind of set point for connection. Just like some people are naturally more optimistic or more cautious, we each have a natural level of comfort when it comes to relationships. For some, closeness feels natural and safe. For others, it feels risky, even threatening. This set point is shaped by both biology and experience. Our early relationships with parents, family, or caretakers leave deep marks on the way we connect later in. A child who feels loved and secure grows up expecting trust and warmth. A child who faces rejection or neglect may learn to keep distance, even as an adult. The good news is, this set point isn't fixed forever. While our past influences us, our present choices and relationships can reshape it. A caring friend, a loving partner, or even therapy can help someone build new patterns of connection. By noticing these patterns in ourselves and others, we gain freedom. We are no longer trapped by old habits. We can choose to open up, to take small risks, and to allow trust to grow. Over time, the set point shifts. And with it, the quality of our relationships. Our brain is not just a private world of thoughts and memories. It is also deeply social. Hidden within it are special circuits designed to help us read faces, sense emotions, and respond to others. This is what's in a single glance. You can often tell if someone is tired, excited, or worried. Your brain does this without effort, using a network of systems built for human connection. From the mirror neurons that echo another's feelings to the emotional centers that light up when we see someone in pain, our brains are built to link with other brains. This is why isolation feels so unnatural. When people are cut off from social life, their brains react with stress, anxiety, even physical pain. On the other hand, strong connections light up reward pathways, giving us joy and comfort. Relationships literally feed the brain, but the social brain can also misfire. Prejudices, quick judgments, or misread signals can cause unnecessary distance or conflict. Social intelligence means training this system, helping the brain not only pick up signals, but also interpret them with wisdom and compassion. When we strengthen our social brain, we don't just become better with people. We become healthier, more resilient, and more human. Think about conversations you've had. Some flow so naturally you lose track of time, while others feel awkward, like you're speaking on different wavelengths. This difference comes from whether you and the other person find the sweet spot for connection. The sweet spot happens when two people are tuned into each other, not too close, not too distant, but just right. It's that feeling when someone is fully present with you, they're listening, not distracted, not forcing their opinion. The rhythm feels easy, and both people leave the exchange feeling understood. When the sweet spot is missing, the opposite happens. If someone pushes too hard, we pull away. If they stay too distant, we feel ignored. Both extremes create tension. The middle ground, that balance between openness and respect, is where real connection grows. Reaching this sweet spot is not about tricks or clever words. It's about awareness. It's about noticing small cues, the shift in tone, the look in the eyes, the pace of the other person's words. Social intelligence allows us to adjust ourselves, to lean in when closeness is needed, and to step back when space is necessary. When we find this balance, relationships flourish. Trust builds, tension eases, and the bond feels natural. Not everyone connects in the same way. Some people are naturally warm, making others feel comfortable within seconds. Others are cautious, holding back until they feel safe. These differences come from what Daniel Goleman calls styles of the social brain. Each style shapes how we approach relationships. The outgoing style loves conversation, thrives on energy, and easily makes friends. The reflective style prefers listening, noticing details, and choosing words carefully. The cautious style may seem reserved at first, but builds steady, lasting trust once comfort is established. None of these styles are right or wrong. Each has strengths and weaknesses. Outgoing people can sometimes overwhelm others. Reflective people may seem distant. Cautious people risk missing opportunities. The key is not to change our style completely, but to understand it and to recognize the styles of others. Social intelligence is the art of flexibility. When we know our own patterns, we can adapt. An outgoing person can learn to slow down for a quieter friend. A reflective person can push themselves to share more. A cautious person can practice taking small social risks. The more we respect and adjust to different social styles, the deeper our connections become. Instead of clashing, we complement one another. The world doesn't need everyone to connect the same way. It needs us to connect with awareness. When two people connect deeply, something powerful happens beneath the surface. The brain and body begin to sync. Our relationships aren't just emotional. They're also chemical. Hormones and neurotransmitters flow through us, shaping how we feel and how close we become. One of the most important is oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It rises when we hug, when we feel trust, or when we share kindness. Oxytocin makes us more open, more caring, and more willing to connect. In a way, it's nature's glue for relationships. But stress hormones like cortisol tell a different story. A sharp word, a dismissive look, or constant tension keeps cortisol high, straining the heart, lowering immunity, and leaving us exhausted. Over time, unhealthy connections take a real physical toll. The chemistry of connection reminds us of a simple truth. Relationships reach deep inside us. A loving friend, a supportive partner, or a caring colleague doesn't just make us feel good, they change our biology. They lower our stress, strengthen our health, and even help us live longer. And this exchange is mutual. When we share kindness, both people benefit. When we spread anger, both people suffer. Social intelligence means choosing to be a source of chemistry that heals, not harms. At the heart of human connection lies compassion, the ability to feel another person's suffering, and the desire to ease it. Our brains are not just designed to think and compete, they are also wired to care. When we see someone in pain, special circuits in the brain light up. We don't just observe suffering, we share it. This is nature's way of moving us toward kindness. Compassion doesn't always mean grand gestures. Sometimes it's as small as listening without judgment, offering a gentle word, or simply being present. These simple acts can calm fear, ease loneliness, and restore hope. They cost little, but they give much. But compassion can be blocked. When we're stressed, self-absorbed, or consumed by anger, our ability to care shrinks. We might ignore the needs of others, or worse, add to their pain. Social intelligence means making compassion a habit, noticing suffering, and responding in a way that heals. Each act of compassion strengthens the bond between people and reminds us of our shared humanity. Why do we sometimes put the needs of others before our own? Why would someone risk their life for a stranger, or share what little they have when no one is watching? The answer lies in the deep roots of altruism, our natural drive to help. From an evolutionary view, altruism helped humans survive. Early communities thrived when members supported each other. A person who shared food or protected others wasn't just being nice. They were strengthening the group, and in turn, themselves. That instinct remains in us today. But altruism is also about meaning. Acts of generosity light up reward centers in the brain, releasing joy sometimes called the helper's high. Helping doesn't just benefit others, it nourishes us too. Children show signs of altruism early. A toddler may hand back a dropped toy or comfort a crying friend. These moments reveal that kindness is planted deep in human nature. Still, environment matters. When compassion is encouraged, altruism flourishes. When selfishness is rewarded, it shrinks. Social intelligence helps us nurture altruism, noticing chances to help and creating ripples of goodness that travel far beyond what we can see. Human beings carry the capacity for both great kindness and great cruelty. History shows us both sides. People risking their lives to save others, and people inflicting terrible harm. The same social brain that allows us to feel compassion can, under certain conditions, be turned against others. Cruelty often begins with disconnection. When we stop seeing another person as fully human, when we label, judge, or dehumanize them, empathy shuts down. In groups, this can be amplified. Peer pressure, fear, or authority can push ordinary people to commit acts they would never imagine alone. Kindness, on the other hand, grows from connection. When we recognize someone's humanity, their feelings, struggles, and dignity, our compassion awakens. Even small gestures of kindness can cut through hostility and change the course of relationships, even conflicts. Cruelty and kindness are both choices. Social intelligence means noticing this fork in the road and consciously choosing the path that heals. Each act of cruelty weakens the bonds of society, while each act of kindness strengthens them. We may not control the world's great conflicts, but we control how we treat the person in front of us. That choice, repeated daily, shapes the culture we live in. Now imagine a society where compassion is not the exception, but the rule, where leaders govern with empathy, workplaces encourage kindness, and communities look after their most vulnerable. This vision isn't just idealistic. It's how human beings thrive. Compassion doesn't only benefit individuals, it strengthens entire groups. Communities where people trust and support one another enjoy better health, greater cooperation, and resilience in times of crisis. Compassion acts like social glue, binding people together. But creating a compassionate society requires more than individual good deeds. It needs systems that encourage empathy instead of greed, cooperation instead of competition, fairness instead of exploitation. Schools, workplaces, and governments can either nurture compassion or crush it. The truth is, kindness is contagious. When compassion is modeled by leaders, it spreads through culture. When cruelty or indifference is normalized, people grow colder. The future of society depends on which pattern we choose to reinforce. Social intelligence begins with the individual, but its highest expression is collective. Each act of empathy ripples outward, shaping families, communities, and nations. A compassionate society is not built overnight, but brick by brick, through everyday choices to care. Social intelligence is powerful. It can heal, inspire, and create trust. But like any power, it can also be misused. The same ability to read emotions and influence others can be twisted into manipulation, exploitation, or control. This is the dark side of social intelligence. We see it in the charming liar who gains trust only to betray it, in the manipulative boss who plays on fears to get obedience, in the politician who stirs anger to divide people. These individuals are skilled at reading human emotions. But instead of using that gift to build, they use it to take. The danger lies in intent. True social intelligence requires empathy and care for others. But when empathy is absent, emotional skills become weapons. People can be persuaded against their own interests, pressured into silence, or led into harm. Still, awareness is protection. When we recognize the signs of manipulation, exaggerated flattery, guilt, tripping, fear tactics, we can guard ourselves. The lesson is clear. Social intelligence is not just about skill, but about character. Without compassion, it can harm. With compassion, it can transform. The choice between light and dark rests in how we use it. Not every connection lifts us up. Some relationships drain our energy, cloud our thoughts, and even harm our health. These are toxic connections, bonds that consistently bring stress instead of support. We've all felt it. The friend who always criticizes, the colleague who spreads negativity, the partner who controls instead of cares. Being around them leaves us tense, anxious, or exhausted. Over time, these connections don't just affect mood. They can damage the body, raising blood pressure, weakening immunity, and shortening life. Toxic connections work like second-hand smoke. Even if we're not the source, being in their presence harms us. And because emotions are contagious, one toxic person can poison a whole group, whether it's a family, a workplace, or a community. The hard truth is that not every relationship can be saved. Sometimes the most caring act we can do for ourselves is to set boundaries or even walk away. Social intelligence means recognizing when a connection is doing more harm than good and having the courage to limit its impact. But there is also hope. Positive relationships can repair the damage toxic ones cause. Just as poison spreads, so does kindness. Surrounding ourselves with supportive, loving people strengthens resilience and restores balance. Sometimes harm doesn't come from what people do, but from what they don't do. Emotional neglect, the absence of warmth, attention, or care, can wound just as deeply as open cruelty. A child who grows up without affection may not bear visible scars, but inside they carry a hunger for connection. Without smiles, encouragement, or comfort, their brain wires itself to expect rejection. As adults, they may struggle to trust, to feel worthy of love, or to open their hearts. Emotional neglect also shows up in adult relationships. A partner who never listens, a friend who is always distant, a leader who ignores the needs of their team, all leave behind emptiness. The absence of empathy slowly erodes confidence, motivation, and even health. The cost is high, but not final. Just as neglect can shape the brain, so can care. With supportive relationships, therapy, and conscious effort, wounds of neglect can heal. Social intelligence means seeing not only the pain people show, but also the pain hidden in silence. By noticing absence as well as presence, we can bring healing where it's needed most. If toxic bonds can harm us, then loving bonds can heal us. Human connection is more than emotional comfort. It is medicine. Supportive relationships strengthen immunity, lower blood pressure, speed recovery from illness, and even extend life. Think of a patient in a hospital. Those surrounded by caring friends and family often heal faster than those left alone. Or consider stressful moments. A gentle touch, a kind word, or the presence of someone we trust can calm our heartbeat and ease our breathing. Connection literally changes the body. Healing through connection doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's found in the small things, listening without distraction, being patient when someone is hurting, or simply staying present when words fall short. These everyday acts of care tell the nervous system, you are safe, you are not alone. Of course, no relationship erases all pain, but bonds of love and trust give us strength to carry burdens, to recover from wounds, and to find hope in dark places. Connection doesn't just heal individuals, it heals communities too. When people look after each other, societies grow stronger, more resilient, and more humane. Every relationship we touch sends out ripples, far beyond what we can see. A kind word to a stranger may brighten their mood, which they then pass on to someone else. A harsh comment may sour a person's day, leading them to spread frustration further. Relationships are not contained. They flow outward like waves in water. Emotions are contagious. Our laughter can spread through a room, lifting spirits. Our anger can infect others, raising tension. Even subtle moods ripple outward. shaping the climate of families, workplaces, and communities. This is why one caring teacher can change the course of a student's life. Why one toxic leader can poison an organization. Why kindness, repeated daily, can shift a culture. We often underestimate our influence. We think our small actions don't matter. But every interaction leaves a trace, a deposit or withdrawal in the emotional lives of others. Social intelligence means choosing those ripples wisely. When we act with compassion, patience, and respect, we create circles of healing that spread far beyond us. We may never see the full reach of our impact, but the world quietly carries it forward. Every chapter so far has shown us one truth. Human connection shapes not just our emotions, but our health, our choices, and even our societies. The question now is, where do we go from here? The future can take two paths. One is shaped by fear, competition, and division. A world where social intelligence is used to manipulate, exploit, and control. The other is shaped by compassion, cooperation, and wisdom. A world where social intelligence helps us heal, build trust, and solve problems together. Which future unfolds depends on the choices we make today. Each of us carries influence, whether we realize it or not. A parent modeling empathy teaches children to care. A leader practicing fairness sets the tone for an entire organization. A neighbor showing kindness strengthens the fabric of a community. A kinder future won't be built by technology alone, nor by intelligence in the narrow sense of IQ. It will be built by emotional awareness, empathy, and the daily practice of treating others with dignity. Social intelligence is not just a personal skill. It is humanity's collective survival tool. Our connections don't stop at family, friends, or even our own communities. In today's world, we are linked across borders, cultures, and nations. What happens in one corner of the globe can affect lives thousands of miles away. This reality calls for something bigger than personal empathy. It calls for global empathy. Global empathy means expanding our circle of care. It's the ability to see a child in another country as just as valuable as our own, to care about strangers facing disaster, poverty, or war, even when they're far away. Technology brings us closer than ever, but it also confronts us with suffering on a massive scale. Our challenge is not to turn away, but to let empathy guide us into action. We can't solve every problem alone, but we can choose compassion over indifference. We can donate, volunteer, speak up, or simply refuse to dehumanize those who live or believe differently. Global empathy is more than charity. It's survival. In a world facing pandemics, climate change, and conflict, only cooperation built on empathy can lead us forward. Now imagine a world where empathy is not just practiced by individuals, but built into the very structure of society. Schools would teach children how to listen. Workplaces would reward cooperation as much as competition. Leaders would measure success not only by profits or power, but by the well-being of people. This is the vision of an empathic civilization. Throughout history, societies have shifted when new ways of relating took root. Once, survival depended on strength. Later, it was intelligence and innovation today. And even more in the future, empathy may be the defining skill of progress. An empathic civilization doesn't mean we all feel the same or agree on everything. It means we recognize our shared humanity across differences. It means building systems that reduce suffering, encourage fairness, and reward compassion. And this isn't a dream for tomorrow. It begins today with the choices we make, the leaders we support, and the values we pass on. At its core, social intelligence is not only science, it is an art. The art of connection is about blending awareness, empathy, and authenticity in every interaction. Real connection doesn't need perfect words. It's found in pauses, smiles, gentle tones, and the willingness to truly listen. Sometimes silence shared with understanding, speaks louder than speeches. The art of connection means balancing honesty with kindness, closeness with space. It grows each time we notice the emotions of others, reflect on our impact, and choose responses that heal instead of harm. In time, our presence itself becomes a gift. People feel calmer, safer, and more valued simply because we are there. In the end, social intelligence is not just something to study, it's something to live. It shows in how we speak to loved ones, how we treat strangers, how we handle conflict, and how we strengthen communities. Living with social intelligence doesn't mean being perfect. It means being aware. It means noticing when our words wound and having the humility to repair. It means celebrating the joy we bring to others and learning from the harm we cause. To live with social intelligence is to carry empathy as a daily practice. It's choosing patience when it's easier to snap, kindness when it costs nothing, and courage when standing up for others matters most. These choices, repeated over time, shape not only our character, but the quality of every bond we hold. Ultimately, a life rich in social intelligence is a life rich in meaning. Success and wealth may fade, but the love we nurture, the trust we build, and the compassion we leave behind, these are the legacies that endure. We become fully human, not in isolation, at the end of life. People rarely talk about the money they made or the titles they held. What they remember most are the people they loved, the relationships they built, and the connections that gave their life meaning. This is the true legacy of connection. Every word, every gesture, every choice in how we treat others leaves an imprint. Sometimes those imprints are small, a smile that lifted someone's day, a kind word that gave hope. Other times, they are life-changing, a mentor's guidance, a parent's love, a friend's loyalty in hard times. Our legacy is not written in stone monuments, but in living hearts. Long after we are gone, the kindness we've shown continues to ripple outward. The legacy of connection also reminds us of responsibility. If our influence can endure for generations, then so can our cruelty or neglect. The choice is ours to leave behind wounds or to leave behind healing. Living with social intelligence means choosing to be remembered for the love we gave, not the harm we caused. In the end, life is measured not by how much we know or how much we own, but by how deeply we connect. Intelligence, ambition, and achievement can bring success. The ultimate measure of a life well lived is the love we give and the bonds we create. Every interaction is an opportunity to heal or to harm, to bring light or to cast shadow. Over years, these moments add up, shaping not only our personal journey, but the lives of everyone around us. The true test of social intelligence is not in theory, but in practice. In the patience we show when tested, the kindness we offer when it's inconvenient, and the courage we display when standing up for others. As we near the end of our journey, the questions that matter most are simple. Did I love well? Did I make others feel valued? Did I leave the world a little kinder than I found it? The answers to those questions are the real measure of a life. At the deepest level, social intelligence is more than a personal skill. It is humanity's bridge. It connects hearts across differences, cultures, and generations. It turns strangers into friends, rivals into partners, and divides into shared ground. Progress has never depended on isolation, but on cooperation. Tribes survived by working together. Nations thrived when they built trust. Today's global challenges, from climate change to inequality to conflict, require this bridge more than ever. This bridge is built through empathy, respect, and shared purpose. Each conversation that replaces judgment with curiosity, each gesture that turns suspicion into trust, lays another stone. Alone, the stones may seem small. Together, they create pathways strong enough to carry humanity forward. But bridges can also be broken. Prejudice, fear, and cruelty burn them down, leaving division in their place. That is why social intelligence is not optional. It is essential. Beneath all the science, beyond the studies and theories, lies the soul of social intelligence. At its heart, it is about love, kindness, and the truth that we are meant to walk this life together. It is measured not by clever techniques, but by the quiet ways we make others feel safe, valued, and understood. The patience of a teacher, the steady hand of a friend, the comfort of a parent, the courage of a stranger. These are the soul's true signs. When we live this way, our relationships stop being transactional. They become sacred spaces where people can be real, vulnerable, and human. In those spaces, healing happens, growth happens, love happens. The soul of social intelligence is this: the recognition that what makes us truly human is not our intelligence alone, but our ability to connect, to care, and to carry one another through life. And so, the journey closes with the final lesson. Life is about connection. Knowledge, success, and achievement all have their place, but without meaningful relationships, they are incomplete. Our greatest power lies not in what we achieve alone, but in what we create together. Every smile, every kindness, every act of empathy becomes part of the invisible thread that holds humanity together. We are not islands. We are part of a vast web, each of us touching lives we may never even know. To live with social intelligence is to live awake. Awake to the feelings of others. Awake to the impact of our words. Awake to the truth that compassion is never wasted. It may seem small in the moment, but it ripples outward endlessly. When the story of our lives is told, the true measure will not be what we kept for ourselves, but what we gave. Love, kindness, understanding, these are the final gifts and the final lessons that endure.